Good evening and happy Friday to everyone. If you're watching this on a Friday, if you're not, have a happy weekend or a happy week, whatever you're up to. So I just wanted to cover movement in Star Trek Online. Now, there is a whole sort of thing about movement in general, so the mechanic is a lot more detailed than you might well expect. So, um, first of all, I'm going to have a look at a few different ships to see how your choice of ship may influence how you move in the game. So let's bring up, so I've got this one. So this is a ship that I'm going to be testing on, the Aurora Miracle Worker Juggernaut. So there are three statistics that I'm quite interested in having a look at. So that is turn rate, impulse modifier, and inertia rating, and the bonus power of 10 engine power. So these are important because these affect how you move and the way in which you move. So if you had a ship with a really high turn rate, but a really poor inertia, you'd be power sliding all over the place and it'd be incredibly easy to overpower slide. So you might have the back of the ship flying right round. This is the case with the Vardwar Miracle Worker Juggernaut that has a turn rate of 6 and an inertia rating of 20, where you power slide around in that ship. So you effectively have to learn how to power slide. The legendary Avenger Miracle Worker has a turn rate of 12, which it feels a lot more responsive when I'm flying it. The impulse modifier on it is the same as the Aurora, and the impulse modifier is slightly higher on the Vardwar Juggernaut, but the inertia rating is the thing that really sets this apart. So it's a large ship. The Aurora Miracle Worker Juggernaut is a very large ship. It's similar in size to if you stuck that ship in a Sundarian Defender underneath, then it takes up quite a lot of the same space. So just to get the scale of that ship, and that's why the inertia rating is really important, is that it just moves. You press left key, or if you're flying with your mouse, it just moves, and you don't have to worry about power sliding or anything like that. So having a look at this actually in motion, if we're flying along, it just moves, and I haven't got anything going on there. It's literally just flying along. Whereas if I was in the Vardwar Juggernaut, then it would be moving, but you'd have a little bit of almost oversteer. If you're into Formula One, a bit of oversteer going on. So yeah, that's how your choice of ship impacts movement. So moving on a little bit, so there's a few ways that you can increase movement. So I'm aiming here for an ISE, so just bear that in mind. I'm aiming for an ISE. There are other ways of doing movement, and they're all totally valid. This is just the way that I do it for my ship when I fly ISEs. So first of all, let's have a look at the skill tree. So there's 3 skill tree points that are relevant to this. So impulse expertise, improved impulse expertise, and advanced impulse expertise. So these each represent an increase in impulse speed and turn rate. So this is 20%, the second one is 34%, and the third one is 40%. Now the difference between the improved and the advanced is only 6%. So you might choose another skill point somewhere else. And where you see that increase is, for example, in evasive maneuvers. So evasive maneuvers is 527.5, which is that's a 34% increase over the default. So that's the first thing to say on that. Now, so skill tree. So the next bit that I'm going to look at is just around clicky stuff that you can click. So I've got deuterium burn. So deuterium burn is from a mission. It's a mission reward. I will put the I will paste a link to the Wikipedia page, the STO.net wiki page, so you can find out how to get it. You do a mission reward. It's effectively evasive maneuvers in a can. So you get 350% flight speed strength for 8 seconds, 350% turn rate strength for 8 seconds, and 15 defense rating for 8 seconds. So this does not stack with evasive maneuvers. So you should use one or the other, not both at the same time. So let's have a look at evasive maneuvers. So we're flying along. Let's bring up the stats. So my flight speed is just there. So I'm happily flying along. I press my deuterium burn and my flight speed goes up to 135.79. So that's a 350% increase on where it was. So that's I'm now nice, more maneuverable, bit quicker. So the second thing to look at is evasive maneuvers itself. So evasive maneuvers with the skill tree points is 527.5 flight speed strength for 8 seconds, 527.5% turn rate strength for 8 seconds, and up to 25 defense rating based on my current speed. So if I increase speed, I get more defense rating. If I'm half impulse, then that would be 25. Ooh, be 25. Okay. Yeah, so it looks like half impulse, you get the full, quarter impulse, you get 13.6. So I press evasive maneuvers at full impulse and I get a nice little speed bonus. You can see it moving around faster. This is the difference between the inertia on the Juggernaut, Vadwa Juggernaut, and the Aurora Juggernaut. Now, you see that I've got emergency power to engines listed there. Now, emergency power to engines on its own also does something really cool. So it does flight speed increase and a flight turn rate increase. It also does an engine power setting for 30 seconds as well, which further increases my speed. But the other thing that it does is it resets evasive maneuvers. Now that isn't by accident. So that is a DOF that you get from the Phoenix store. So that is the emergency con hologram. So activating emergency power to engines causes the recharge on evasive maneuvers to be drastically reduced. So it recharges evasive maneuvers when you use emergency power to engines. So let's just wait for that to cool down, and then we can try that one. So the other thing to say on is make sure that your power levels all into weapons, and then secondary all into engines. So now I've got, this is now cooled down. So if I press my evasive maneuvers, I let the 8 seconds expire. Okay, and now I've got, oh no, I've got 45-second recharge. I press my emergency power to engines and I get my evasive back straight away, which is quite good because then you can effectively, when you're in a TFO, you can effectively go evasive, emergency power to engines, back to evasive to get your evasive back again. So that's that's very handy, and it's something that I do micromanage. So it's not on my, these three things aren't on my spam bar, so I don't manage those. Now, if you're doing DPS runs, I do tend to use a dual battery engines and auxiliary. That is because, again, it's more energy, more power into engines, which will in turn get me to places faster. OSS 3 increases max and current all power levels as well, so that will increase engines as well. So that's another little bonus there. So the last thing that I just want to draw your attention to is first for battle, the trait, first for battle. So using a cannon rapid fire, cannon scatter volley, or a cloaking device applies increased flight speed strength, turn rate strength, and increased damage for 15 seconds. After the duration expires, there is a 15-second period before it can be activated again. Now, the tooltip isn't quite right on this, so you can activate it again straight away. So there's no 15-second lockout period. So you get a 230% turn rate strength and flight speed strength and 40% increased damage. So that is Cat 1 damage. So this is again is improved by my Starship Impulse expertise. So back to my skill tree again. So that ability is increased by Starship Impulse expertise. So how's that activated? It's activated with CSV. So you're activating with CSV. So you press the CSV button and you get a boost to your flight speed strength and Cat 1 damage bonus, which is active for the entire duration of CSV. So if you are in a situation, for example, you're crossing from one side of an ISC to the other and you don't want to activate your firing cycle and lose time on it, you can hit quantum singularity manipulation. That also procs first for battle. That is an active space reputation. That does also increase your science stats for 8 seconds as well. So just bear that in mind. So yeah, you can also use QSM alongside CSV. Now the final thing I just want to go through is the competitive engine. So the competitive engine, upon activating a firing mode, Bridge Officer ability, you get 350% flight speed for 5 seconds, 350% flight turn rate for 5 seconds, 15 defense rating for 5 seconds, and increased recharge speed on tactical Bridge Officer abilities for 10 seconds. So you get a nice little bonus when you activate a firing mode. Now, I've already got something that procs off firing mode first to battle. So you hit that CSV and you get a lot of speed and turn rate. So you get 188.69 flight speed and quite an inertia increase. So you get both the first for battle proc and the competitive engine proc, which is quite nice. So yeah, it's absolutely worth using. So combine it all. So let's see if I can go into an ISE, and so whilst we're waiting for that, just to recap, we've got the DOF emergency con hologram, which is available from the Phoenix store. That resets evasive maneuver, so you can press evasive and then press emergency power to engines and then get your evasive back. You've got Deuterium Burn, which is a craftable item once you've completed the mission. You've got the trait First to Battle. You've got the competitive engines, and you've got the engine power level set quite high. So hopefully this won't be that long. Here's hoping. Other things that can increase speed. There's quite a few things. So if your play style is PvP, you might go for the other competitive engine, which is the prevailing. I've got the other competitive engine somewhere. It's here. The prevailing fortified impulse engine. So that activates upon hull or shield bridge officer abilities. So you slot hull heal abilities and you get a proc off of that. You could also use the fortified impulse engines on a tank, instead of if you've got lots of hull abilities on your tank, hull heal abilities. You might well use the fortified engine on your tank, but also valuable in PvP. Okay. So I'm still just waiting for this to proc. So what I might do, I wonder if there's any other. Is there a patrol that I can do? I wonder. You know, I might do let's do a solo ISA and just see what's going to happen. I might die in this because this isn't set up for solo content, but I will see.
The situation is grim.
Okay, so let's haven't done solo content in quite a while, so this is a very interesting. Let's put my combat log on, and then I can have a look at the end and see where I'm at. Okay, so I'm activating emergency power to engine, so I've got a little bit of that left at the end. Lure team command. To evasive. 5 seconds before the start. So over to the left, so you can see I've just used my deuterium burn. I'm going to use my emergency power to engines as well, just to reset. So I've got evasive ready. Okay, so I'm going to evasive over to the other side. Start firing again. And resetting my evasive again. So if I hadn't quite made it over, I might well have used my QSM just there just to top that up. Okay. Shouldn't need much of these abilities now, so let's just see exactly what. Let's go for a bit of FPA. I don't think this is going to be particularly high in terms of DPS, because this isn't set up for solo DPS. Okay. So, as you can probably gather, it's really important to get from one side of the map to the other really quickly, especially when you're in a group of people or you're doing a DPS run. You might find that you have to you're all boosted up and you have to go really fast, so you might need some of the other tools that are available. I will just have a quick look at the DPS figure. I'm intrigued because like I said, I haven't done solo content in such a long time. That's not too bad. 341k DPS. Didn't use my agony at the beginning. Didn't really need to. For ISA, it's not too bad. So yeah, that brings this to a conclusion. I'm planning a whole bunch of other stuff, but I hope you find this video useful. If you've got any questions or queries, please let me know in the comments below. Always answer comments if I can. I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. And take care. And this has been another episode of Easy STO with me, Kath. Bye.